Hey, Irvington, it's Harlan, and I'm here with Nicole, an Irvington resident.
Hi.
And today we are the Indiana Historical Society.
We are.
Okay, so today I actually really wanted to take an opportunity to introduce you to a very exciting exhibit, and I'll give it to Nicole to sort of tell. This is all your baby, isn't it?
It is my baby.
Okay, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Nicole. I'm an Irvington resident, but this is our exhibit called Be Heard, Latino Experiences in Indiana. So this is a second installation of a three-part series here. So last year we covered LGBTQ community. This year we are covering Latino. Next spring we will cover our Asian community here in Indiana. So this is Be Heard Latino.
Great. Nicole's going to take us around a little bit of a tour just to see some of it, but we're not going to give away all the secret sauce so that you can come see for yourself. First, can you talk about the exhibit, like hours and all that? Like, can anybody come?
Sure, yeah. The Indiana Historical Society is open from 10 till 5, Tuesday through Saturday. So we're closed on Monday and Sunday, so we're not open. So we are a library and archive, so everything that we have in our collection is paper-based. So everything in our collection is based off of transcripts, letters, photos, a variety of different things.
Very good. You know, one of the ways that Nicole and I got to meet each other, which we're very, very excited about, as many of you know, Enrique and I are married, and Enrique is an Indianapolis resident, has been for more than 10 years, but he is from El Salvador, and despite the fact that we're married, we are having some challenges that we've published regarding our potential deportation, some really significant immigration challenges. So this exhibit was near and dear to our heart, and Nicole reached out because she heard our story, and not only is it also a part of the LGBT piece that, as she mentioned, was a previous exhibit, but we are facing some significant challenges with the entire immigration story for Latin American here. So this is exciting for us because Nicole has interviewed us to be a part of that archive, so we're actually going to be part of that recorded history in the future.
Yeah, so this project has been going on for a number of years, so I've been able to travel the state of Indiana, capturing those stories, doing audio recorded oral history interviews, and then doing some historical and genealogical research. So if somebody picks up these transcripts and they are reading them in 50 days, 50 years, 50 centuries, these will hold true, so people will fully understand their experiences here in Indiana and what it means to be Latino in Indiana.
Great, that's awesome. Nicole, your work is pretty amazing. Why don't you show us a couple pieces here?
Sure. What would you like to see?
Let's take a look at a couple of things here. This doll is really interesting.
Oh, sure. Well, let me start off right here. So we talk about the overall exhibit. I've kind of picked up on two different things. A lot of people talk about their culture and their contribution. So when you are talking about Latinos, you're talking about not only Mexico but Central America and South America. So anywhere between 20 and 30 countries, 20 and 30 ethnicities, variances on language, so and traditions. So the primary community started to settle in Northwest Indiana in Indiana Harbor in 1919. But in 1926, they started their own Fiesta Patrias parade, which is a Mexican Independence Day parade. And so they nominated a queen, and this is the very first queen.
That's very cool.
Be gorgeous. And this is a tradition that continues today in East Chicago, Indiana.
Okay.
So this is the Reyes family. This is Maria Picon Reyes with her husband Jose and daughter Maria de Jesus. Maria Picon was, one of the early settlers of Indiana Harbor. She was everybody's comadre, everybody's best friend, somebody that they talked to. She was very much out in the community raising funds for what is now possibly the first Latino Catholic church in the state of Indiana. But also just to show her generosity and her ingenuity, she would find doll parts, basically like a dumpster diver. She'd see some stuff in the street, see a broken doll, and she would repair them and take them back to Mexico with her to give to children that were less fortunate. So this is an example of her handiwork. So this is a 1930s doll. So you can see that there are some crude stitches on the shoulder to show that how she repaired it. So we estimate it might be from the 1930s, but definitely manufactured in Mexico.
Great. How about, you talked about the repatriation.
Yeah.
Can we take a look at
Sure
that?
can. Come on. Try not to walk into a pole. So, all right, so this section is from 1929 to 1970. So the exhibit is split up into 4 different sections. So here, definitely in the 1930s, so you have the Great Depression, and also what you see now in the news is the repatriation, where people of Mexican heritage and also who are also U.S. citizens were deported. And the great thing about this whole entire exhibit is that you are able to hear people's stories in their own words. So each section has an audio section, so pick up and make a selection and listen to somebody's story. So we have 2 people here who are talking about the effects of the repatriation on their local community and their family.
That has to be very startling because, for us now, we're living that same scenario. And who would ever thought in the 21st century that we'd be living such a, dark time in terms of that?
Well, if you look at U.S. history, and every single ethnicity that has come through, has stepped foot on our shores, has faced some kind of discrimination and extreme discrimination throughout the years. So, but the repatriation, it's unsettling to hear, it's unsettling to know, and just to think about, what if this never happened? But what's great is that there are a lot of people who were able to remain in the community, and a lot of people did return back to Indiana after living some time in Mexico. So.
So you were talking about how the coolest thing about this exhibit is it's just ongoing in terms of collection, right?
So this is a really great way to show that we what we have, because we can't say we have a Latino collection without having anything. So this is kind of debuting what we have, and this is really an effort to start a conversation with the Latino community of the state of Indiana to say that your history matters and that we're here, we're listening, we are ready to collect your stories to add it to the narrative of the narrative Indiana. So we're a multi-ethnic state, and so we want to hear from you.
And tell me, just real quick, so does that, so that just kind of stays in the library forever, right?
Yeah. So, as I mentioned before, our collection is 188 years old, so we have been collecting Indiana history, personal history, for a very long time. And so, our state is I think about 202 years old. So this is just adding another wonderful layer to Indiana history and culture.
That's awesome. So what would be the most important thing that you think that people who would visit this exhibit are going to be able to experience or gain? I mean, I think it's so phenomenal because as a child, I remember, for example, the first few different people who came to the classroom and so forth. As a kid of Indianapolis Public Schools, I think this is pretty important because, flash forward so many years later, you can see sort of the histories of these people. But what do you think is important about this exhibit and what does it mean to you?
I think the overall message is that in terms of Latino, understanding that we all have come from different cultures, but the overall message is that we have been in Indiana for almost 100 years. So the Indiana Historical Society's collection is 188 years old, and the state of Indiana itself is, a little over 200 years old. So Latinos have been a part of Indiana statehood for, more than, if not half, of our statehood. So we've been here for a long time. And we've made some, you'll see in the exhibit some people who've made some lasting contributions that affect you in your day-to-day life. A food brand that's been around for, 90 years that you probably will see at Aire or Kroger. We know a lot of people go to that Kroger in Irvington. So come check it out and learn something new.
Great. Tell me real quick, what would be like your favorite little nugget? Like, what's your favorite nugget?
My favorite nugget? Well, I'm gonna have to say the Festival Queen photo. That was the last photo that I collected before I stopped traveling. This is a baby in many different ways. I was pregnant during the last half of this project. So once I couldn't travel anymore, I got a call from a woman. So I've met a lot of women who claimed to be the first queen. And so I'd ask what year, and they would say 1934, and I'm like, unfortunately you are not. And so 1926 is a long, obviously she is not with us today, but I got a call from what would be her granddaughter-in-law, and so that photo, I call it my holy grail photo because it's absolutely fabulous. We don't really see too many photos of the first parade in Indiana. Also, I want to note that all of these photos come from people's personal collections, so these have not been exhibited before. So these will be are part of our Latino digital collection, which you can go online and see.
Cool.
and come here to the exhibit. So
that's really cool. That's awesome. Hey, so it's Harlan here and introducing Nicole in the exhibit and the Be Heard, which is now, what do you call those? You said there are 3, so what are they?
Oh, the second installment of our 3-part exhibit series. So this will close on November 3rd. So
hurry, you got to hurry in and
Yeah,
see
hurry.
this. Yeah. So thank you, Irvington. I hope you enjoyed this. Take a journey downtown. We live very close. It's pretty awesome for us to be able to get in and get out.
23 minutes door to door.
She knows. There you go. All right, thank you so much. We're out.